All set? Okay. Welcome everyone to North Middlesex Council of Governments, Wednesday, June 17th. It is 7:04 p.m. Thank you for coming. And the first order of business is roll call.
Chris Tribute.
Here.
Pat. Here. John.
Here.
Doug.
Present.
Don.
Here.
Bill.
Here.
Belinda. Here. Jerry.
Here.
Chuck.
Here.
Stephen.
Here.
Jonathan.
Here.
Nate.
Good evening.
And Joni.
Here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see, we'll move on to meeting minutes. Council meeting of May 20th, 2026. Everybody had a chance to review them? If everybody's happy, we need a motion to accept them.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Moved by Chuck and seconded by Chris. All right.
Okay, roll call.
Chris.
Aye.
Pat. Abstain. John.
Abstain.
Don.
Yes.
Phil.
Yes.
Belinda. Yes. Jerry.
Abstain.
Stephen.
Yes.
Jonathan.
Yes.
Nate.
Abstain.
Joni.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Financial report and warrant. Sarah?
Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome. We have,
Is it in the, there it is. Okay. Sorry. 1 second, please. For those online, let me share it. All right.
all right, here we are, the middle of June. We're almost done with the fiscal year and we have a warrant here, vendor warrant for our payables that came to 129,825.91, and we have 2 payrolls in this cycle that come to 90,912.66 for a grand total of 227,38.57. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Sarah? If not, I need a motion to accept the financials.
Make a motion to accept.
Have a second? Second.
Moved by Jerry, seconded by Phil.
Bill, yeah, roll call.
Chris.
Aye.
Pat.
Yes.
John.
Aye.
Don.
Yes.
Phil.
Yes.
Belinda.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Aye.
Chuck.
Yes.
Stephen.
Yes.
Jonathan.
Yes.
Nate.
Aye.
Joni.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you. Now move on to agenda item number 4, NMCOG Council Nominating Committee for NMCOG bylaws. So we need to nominate 3 individuals, 3 council members. And for the next election cycle, which is in September. So I'll take any nominations from the floor. Anybody interested in 3 individuals? Or from online too?
I'll be happy to serve again next election.
Jerry? Need 2 more? You can do it.
I'll nominate Doug.
I'll work with Jerry. The 2 finance guys will work together.
Okay,
Sounds
it's okay, good.
And we need one more person.
One more still?
Yes.
Waiting up for me. Okay, Phil, thank you all. Appreciate your interest in helping us out here. Okay, let's move on to.
So why don't we-
Take a vote.
The
Yeah.
vote required.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, need a motion to approve for the 3 individuals. So make the motion.
To approve the nominating committee, which will be Jerry, Chuck, Phil, and Stephen.
No,
So
not me.
moved.
Yeah, no, you would also be part of the committee.
I would be.
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Nice try,
So
nice try.
That was moved by John,
have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Second.
seconded
Take it,
by
Joni.
Tony.
Yeah.
Okay, and Chris?
Aye.
Now we're voting. Okay, Pat?
Yes.
John?
Aye.
Don? Phil,
Yeah.
Belinda.
Yes.
Jerry,
Aye.
Chuck,
Aye.
Steven,
Aye.
Jonathan,
Aye.
Nate,
Aye.
Joni.
Aye.
Yeah, we don't do it once a year to see why.
It's only the second time around, by the way.
Yeah, this is the second time we're doing it. So bylaws
Okay,
changed and
thank you all very much for that. Now we move on to item number 5, the annual council meeting update.
yes. Our annual council meeting is in October, and it'll be at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts again, which is exciting. It's on October 15th, sorry, 7 to 8:30 p.m. approximately. I think, at this point, what I wanted to just share is that we have kind of a theme that we're working with, which is about connecting our communities and building resilience and shaping the future. And we will have, our typical welcoming and open remarks with the chair, myself doing a state of the region. We're planning to do some regional, we haven't figured out exactly who will be on the panel, but we decided we would go back to having a panel again, which seemed to be a very engaging experience for folks when we did that in Tingsboro. And we'll focus on success through collaboration. And we have a couple of ideas about how we're going to do that, probably focusing on housing and economic development topics again, though potentially other ideas that Kelly and I are working with. Then we'll have the Regional Leadership Awards. There will be 2 for an organization and an individual. And I believe that is all at this moment in time. That is the plan.
Jenny,
Yes.
you mentioned it was October 15th, but October 15th would be a Thursday, so.
So it's October 14th.
It's the third Thursday?
Oh, the third, oh, is it actually it's the 21st?
Okay, so what is October?
21st.
Okay, no problem.
Actually, that reminds me, I'm planning to send a new calendar hold to everybody. The current calendar hold for our council meeting is somewhat outdated because many members have changed. So you will receive a new meeting invitation from me holding all of the meetings that will start. But once we talk about the calendar, you'll receive a new calendar hold. So we will for certain know the date of the end of the meeting at that point. But it is October 21st. Thank you, Sarah.
So you said it was 7 to 8:30, is it gonna be open before that for networking?
We'll do what we normally do, which is that sort of like a mini council meeting, and we're not going to do it in the same room. We're going to be doing it in a different room. It was very difficult to hear last year.
Yeah.
So we'll have it in a different room, and then yes, there will be some socializing before that. Exactly before the official program.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
No.
Okay, let's move on to number 6, NMCOG personnel manual update.
Yes. Well, the personnel committee. Would you like any of you?
Yeah, if you would mind,
that?
I just scribbled a few notes, but the personnel committee did meet on May 14th to review some recommended revisions by Jenny and Kelly, who had been going over some items in the employee handbook. And the committee had overwhelmingly voted to support the change in revisions. I have Jenny go through the details, but there were a couple of the ones that were highlighted. One of it was how to handle any vacation that's not taken and you can carry over and, in hopes of using the vacation. And another item was handling Saturday holiday. And then there was remote work as well. And really refining the language on that. I think most workplaces are doing that as well. It's a privilege and not a right. So that language was fine tuned as well, but clearly, Jen, if you want to go through some real details, that would be.
Yeah. And I actually received kind of some feedback from Belinda. It was a little bit late breaking for me, so I did let me actually find, this is the one. Okay, let me share this. This is, for everybody's benefit. I also we will glad to look at it together. I know this turns the conversation into slightly different. So with, personnel committee's understanding, we did distribute it so that others could review it and provide any feedback. Belinda did, and it was quite, I didn't have enough time to go through everything, but I did review it, but I didn't have time to respond to everything. Jerry has captured the primary topical areas that we had introduced to the manual. We also shared it with staff and talked about it at our staff meeting with very little.
Yeah, I think the one other addition is an AI policy.
The AI policy was actually our policy,
Yeah.
and we just folded it into the document. So,
Okay.
I guess you can talk for yourself, of course. But on the screen, and I believe primarily it's highlighted.
Yeah,
And,
so
yeah,
I guess, so I did read
Sorry,
through all
it's gonna make everybody
72
seasick
pages.
first.
That's the lawyer in me, or former lawyer in me. And most of the suggestions were things like using consistently third person, rather than, sometimes second person. And some other suggestions, some places where there were policies in the back, which were sort of overlapping to some extent with those in the inside about some of the leave. I think there was some harassment policies and other things in the back. I'm trying to remember which ones were in the back. But those were more suggestions rather than a wholesale rework. I like the drug and alcohol policy. Is touched upon throughout, or in the front and somewhat differently in the back. So, yeah, I mean, those are just, yeah, and I did highlight everything that I did in yellow, so the other, that was mine, I guess it didn't come across as a highlight, but yes. Just,
So I did, sorry, whoops.
yeah.
Of course, it's a giant document. It's gonna make me crazy. All right, so. Where was that? I'm sorry. We added the strategic plan. Sorry, that was one other thing. The highlighted text is Belinda's. I'm hoping everybody who's on screen can see this. Can you? And if not, do you know how to make it larger, or do you need my help?
So I have a question.
Okay.
On these changes, additions, they have to be approved by the personnel committee first, or can we all approve it as a board here today without?
I believe you could
Exactly.
probably address it as a council
Okay.
and figure it
That's fine.
out together.
That's fine.
I don't think that, unless the personnel committee would like to make that choice, and that's my recommendation, but it's up to the committee if they wanna look at it differently. We also, this was all reviewed by our council. So it was reviewed by our attorney already.
Okay. That's good.
So everything
I
had
should
already
ask that
been
question
reviewed
first.
by KP Law, who's our counsel, before going to the personnel committee, and then personnel committee had some changes. I went back to council, and what I shared was the version and track changes and the completed version. I think that what Belinda has offered, though, are mostly just things that tighten up a lot of, various sentences or things that are sort of like, well, what does that exactly mean? There's something implied but not actually stated. For example,
It's like the carryover of the vacation. Which
Vacation.
says you can carry over 1 week into the next year, but doesn't really talk about the forfeiture of the remaining amount. And I think that is relevant when you see other references to the carried over or unused vacation at the time somebody is terminated.
this is the
Yeah, like that, so.
the highlighted parts are, again, the sections that Belinda is suggesting.
By employee, okay.
Yep.
Okay, I see it, yeah, that's good.
And I did provide a couple of examples of ways that I could make some of these adjustments. This is, how people accrue time. There were some other questions that I answered. Some adjustments to the language here.
And Cobra, I think, does require a 2%.
This was an addition.
Yeah.
So the only changes are after the attorney reviewed it, KP Laws, it's in yellow, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's fine.
I think Cobra allows you to do up to 2%, you don't have to.
I thought Cobra required that the employee pay the full premium.
Correct. And
Plus
they,
2%.
you can, I don't think it's required.
I thought that was the administrative fee.
We do that though, right? Yeah, so I think that we already,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so if
and
this
it's
is,
really to let the employee know.
this is
that
more
that's their
of a communication
obligation.
to an employee in the event that
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 we do,
happens.
yeah.
We do that already, so I didn't make it, I didn't delete, there were a couple things
Yeah,
that
no,
I did
that's,
delete.
no, that's great, and in fact,
That I didn't think were,
yeah, no,
but I only had
good,
like
good,
10
good,
minutes
good.
to review
Yeah,
all of them,
no,
so I tried my best. And I made a couple of responses, but
yeah, no.
you can't read them because they're hiding behind
Yeah, no,
all these people. And
And I mean, it was truly, as I said, it's for what it's worth, not to derail anything.
Understood.
Without,
I think it's helpful and I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
any council members' feedback whenever it arrives, so.
Well, what I read into this is, what I'm reading into this is a volunteer for the personnel committee as well.
Yeah.
no, well, but you'll get it at the last minute, so let's not.
Good catch.
Well, at least you looked at the Consolidated Omnibus Reconciliation Act.
Clearly, yes. Yes, yeah, there's a couple of things, you know, that.
Yeah,
Suggestions, I did start to turn them
Yeah.
into language that made a little more, you know,
Yeah,
that
perfect.
sort of worked in the context. I can obviously continue to do that. Most of the changes, as you can see, are related. You know, you can see them on the screen. I didn't see, with a couple of exceptions, you know, there's things that are like fonts and
Yeah, right.
That which we would
exactly.
handle
Just
in our
be
formal
consistent,
font.
yeah.
Formatting of the document, which we hadn't done yet. You know, this is just more of a question, which the answer is yes, that is how that would work. I'll keep scrolling the document.
Anything that you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, is there?
Yeah, as we scroll,
Okay.
see, I mean, again, much of it was like, you know, was just consistency.
I already did this one.
Yeah, thanks.
That was a good suggestion. I believe we've had it happen.
Unreasonable gratuity, is that the
No, the one where we have a sick day. We have not a sick day, the snow closing, some sort of closing. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah, again, you can just reject. Space,
This is currently our policy.
yeah,
So, and we are working actually on a communications policy at some
Oh,
point. That'll
okay,
be
yeah,
added.
that's
So
good.
at the moment, this is all we have.
yeah, because I was trying to think about things like WhatsApp and didn't know how you wanted to.
Yeah,
deal with that.
Yeah, we do need to have a more expensive policy, but we haven't done that. I didn't read all
So,
of the.
yeah, so personally identifiable information typically is not just those specific items, but it's typically anything that could identify an individual. So it could be, you do have address, but it could be characteristics that when you put them together would reference, you know, Jenny, even if it's not specifically there, but.
Yeah,
Question about who you gain permission to use AI tools from. Environmental justice, they just made that lowercase.
The PII, there's a state definition for PII.
Yes, well, there's lots of definitions for PII, 'cause I was, yeah, I mean, as a corporate attorney, I ran into it a lot, but, I haven't looked at the states.
I just know from my own work that
Yeah.
there's a state definition.
But I will quickly
The
address.
second most stringent in the nation.
Ah,
Well,
okay,
we're in the middle of a good practice, by the way, which is regularly going back to the employee manual and making sure
yeah,
it's up to date. So if we can get it exactly everything right this time, it's not that
yeah, right.
we don't have to wait
Exactly.
for
No,
the
that is a
next
good
town meeting. We
practice,
can,
yeah.
we can do We can do it in September, by the way, not even have to call it a fall town meeting. So, we can do it whenever we want. So we might not get everything
Yeah,
exactly
no,
right,
no.
and I do appreciate though, I'd have to look at it more carefully myself,
Yeah, I
but,
think it'd be tough for us to cop line.
yeah,
I
I
know.
can't,
And that's why you should think about just not even accepting the changes and just working with what you had before.
yeah.
And just
Oh,
using these as suggestions for whenever you do deal with it next.
Yeah, we can just take it at another session.
Yeah, I think the main thing is the things that we really would like to
Yeah,
change,
but-
I think should be addressed, and those were the things that the personnel committee had reviewed, and then we can certainly glad to go back to this in September if
I think
that's
that
what
makes
ends up
sense.
happening.
I think that makes sense. I don't think it's a motion.
And after Belinda joins the personnel.
It's a lot.
We'll work on that.
Have an appropriate meeting.
Yeah.
And the rest of this is just policies, so, that was the end of it.
Okay,
Okay.
So yes, again, as I said in the email, I mean, this was just for what it's worth, and I only had a chance to get to it.
Yeah, no, that's right.
So you can like toss it all out and just
Well,
go with, you know,
I
and
think
use it
we'll- I
whenever
think we'll-
appropriate. Yes, that's all. Or
We'll
think of-
more meaningfully review it and make sure we understand it, and also be able to ask you questions.
Yes,
To
yeah,
better understand some of your suggestions,
Yeah.
because they were very thorough, and I
yeah,
think
no,
we
thank you.
appreciate that
Yeah.
level of review. Just, the timing might not.
Yeah, no, of course.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to get in the way.
okay, so what's the pleasure of the personnel committee? You'll make a motion?
Well, make a motion to approve the revisions that were included in the packet for the council review.
So I'm gonna just bring up the clean copy,
Here you go.
which I didn't change. I just wanted to make sure I shared that.
Yeah,
because
that's fine. Yeah, yeah.
And do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay. A little late, but it's okay.
Jerry and Pat.
Jerry, thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Okay,
Okay.
take it to a vote, please.
Now you get your chance, Chris,
Aye.
Pat,
Yes.
John,
Aye.
Don.
Aye.
Phil,
Yes.
Belinda,
Yes.
Jerry,
Aye.
Chuck,
Yes.
Stephen,
Aye.
Jonathan,
Aye.
Nate,
Aye.
and Joni.
She's muted.
Yeah, she might have stepped away.
Okay.
Joni, are you there?
I'm here. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Good. Sorry.
Okay, all right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And thank you, Belinda, too, for the
Yeah,
work.
thank you very much.
Let's move on to number 7, executive director's report.
Yes.
Jenny?
I think, again, similar to last time, I'm going to give you oops, yeah, thanks. Can folks see what is now the staff report on the Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, good. Great. So what I wanted to do is just give some quick highlights and compliments to the team. The first one is to Kelly's report is always first.
Okay.
But
Go get it, Kelly.
but Kelly's team has been doing amazing work in the transportation planning arena. There's just so many things to talk about, but I wanted to mention at least the endorsement that the NPO did of the TIP, which is from the 2027 through 2031 federal fiscal year, of course. But that is due to the team really working to understand the transportation projects that are going on in our region, and I think more appropriately figuring out also what to do with our TIP funds in our region, figuring out our local as well as regional priorities, and working with our local communities to also advance projects to get eventually on the TIP, and figuring out what studies need to be done, what analyses need to be accomplished, and potentially what political hurdles need to be overcome in order to get things happening. So I just really want to give appreciation for that, because that's a tremendous step and a lot of progress to get a good TIP in order. And that also carves out funds for some exciting new things, including ways that we can spend money locally to leverage new project work, as well as potentially other things that we're going to be using those TIP dollars for projects that will benefit the agency. So I just want to say thank you to Kelly and her team, and also, of course, to the NPO for endorsing that document. So that was the main thing that I wanted to mention in transportation. The bike ped plan is also out for public comment. It actually is, I think maybe the last time we shared with the council that it was going to their meeting, they were going to vote on it. They actually, it turned out that they moved that to their June meeting. So they're going to be taking it up at their meeting next week. We kicked off our traffic counting program. I know I've mentioned this in previous meetings, but there's a number of new folks around the table. And I just wanted to say that if you have questions about the traffic counting program and what that means, what does it look like in your community? Which streets are, have traffic counts done? We have a whole online interactive map that you can go to. But also, if you just wanted to speak with a human, I think that person is Blake Acton.
Yes.
Who is on our team, and he can assist you and also help you to understand what we're doing and when it's happening. And if there's any local questions about that, he would be your main point of contact. I also wanted to note that we've completed a tip review study, which I think we haven't done a tip review study in a couple years, actually.
Actually, we've done it the last 2 years.
In the last 2 years, but this one, I think, is the first time we're really going back in time and looking at a project and understanding like the greater impact. And that was done by Emmanuel, and it's just an excellent document. So I know that things are hyperlinked here that you can take a look at and understand what that looks like. This is basically what we do after we're talking about transportation planning sometimes for 20 years, 10 years before something actually happens. Then the project happens, and it's, based upon data points and things that have happened a long time prior. Conditions sometimes change, so you can actually better understand the impact of those decisions and potentially whether or not the infrastructure is effective and any transportation improvements have actually addressed some of the issues that were potentially identified as the rationale for the project to begin with. So you really get a good sense of those potential outcomes, and it also helps to inform our future project work.
And I think one thing, when you go to public meetings and people are talking about transportation improvements, a lot of the public will often be skeptical about well, this isn't going to increase. Why do we need bike lanes? Or this sidewalk is ridiculous. And the part of the purpose of doing these tip review studies is to really evaluate safety and what are the changes to safety, and did this project actually achieve the safety goals that it set out to achieve. And so I think the last 2 tip studies have actually demonstrated that, by looking at the data several years after the construction, we've actually been able to point to the fact that there have been demonstrable safety improvements due to the addition of certain factors in these projects. So
That's good.
yeah.
Have you published that, and any considered publishing it besides just on?
MassDOT's actually asked Emmanuel to present at a couple of different meetings, so it's been they're very receptive to it, and I think he'll also be probably presenting at the MassDOT conference.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
If you have any other suggestions, we're open to them.
Yeah.
Talk about where to publish our work or share it.
Yep.
Anybody who's interested in hearing these reports too. I mean, if it's your select board, if special committees that you work with, that's also an option to hear about, what this looks like after the fact. The other thing about Emmanuel that I wanted to share is he had the opportunity to participate in the U.S. Safe System Academy in Washington, D.C. It was a week-long training that will help him to do even more amazing work here in the region related to our Vision Zero plan as well as safe system implementation. And just, really wonderful to hear not just what he learned, but also how that will help inform the development of that toolkit that we've been working through. That's available on the NMCOG website. So those are the transportation planning updates I wanted to share, but there's of course many more things in here that are going on. Something to note for September, in addition to potentially our next council meeting then, is we are having our next summit for Greater Role Stronger Together. The Economic Summit is happening September 22nd from 9 a.m. to noon. We're partnering with a number of different entities in order to bring this forward, including the Greater Lowell Chamber, Mass Hire Greater Lowell Career Center, and Lowell Plan and LDFC rather. And looking forward to having that conversation and hoping that all of you will attend.
Just scheduled like 2 hours ago, a bunch of meetings.
I know, that's gonna be very popular.
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah, you can be there, wonderful. I actually, if we can figure out a way to record some of these things and make them shareable, we'll figure that out. We have done it before. The other thing I wanted to note is we've continued doing the housing storytelling campaign, which is led by our consultant, Health Resources in Action, who's been assisting us for more than a year now in this project. And there is now, again, another hyperlink here to this Engage website. It's called Home Starts Here is the name of the campaign. And I would encourage you to certainly check it out for yourselves and maybe even respond to it. But also if you think of additional folks who might have stories to share, we're still looking for a storyteller from a community outside of Lowell to share their story that might be relatable to the topics that you can see here.
And I may or may not be reaching out to a couple of you personally in the next few days, with just a request if you're interested in storytelling, so.
We would appreciate it. On the Regional Housing Services Office, this has been moving along. We have, I believe, 4 out of 5 approved budgets. We're still working on Tewksbury, which they've approved the funding, but they have yet to approve signing the IMA, which they're planning to do, I believe, next week, June 23rd, I believe is their select board meeting. And so we'll be ready to get going as of July 1st. I believe I mentioned this at our last meeting. Unfortunately, Christian D'Amelia moved on, and we've met Lauren Kiesling, who's serving in a temporary role as the regional housing coordinator. We are in the process of looking to hire a full-time regional housing coordinator, and we are in the interview process right now. So that person will be the person charged with leading the services that are happening through this office. But glad to answer any questions about this if you have them. We've been doing a lot of applying for grants and trying to get funding to supplement various projects that you see on the following pages. And I'm not going to talk about all of them again, because I think that just feels like a long report. I did want to mention also, you met Alex at a prior meeting a while ago. Actually, he's our current CELT fellow, which is this UMass Lowell CELT Fellowship Program. It's also through the RIST Institute at UMass Lowell, but it's also through Boston University. It's a partnership fellowship. And it's funded actually primarily through the Mass Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. I went to their poster session the other day, and it was just a wonderful opportunity to hear from the 34 fellows who are serving in various capacities, mostly based at municipalities, but also some at the state EEA. And then of course, Alex here, who were talking about all the great work that they've been doing. And Alex provided us with quite a bit of resources outlining best practices and things for us to consider as we move forward in helping all of your communities with looking at the battery energy storage systems, specifically around decommissioning of those systems, as well as the potential for how that local process will look as it's expedited within 12 months, which is how long you have to review the application and issue a permit. Alex he's a freshman and a rising sophomore at UMass Lowell. I think his last day is in the next couple of weeks, and we have another new fellow starting in July, and they will be with us for 6 months. So I'll bring them to the next meeting to introduce you.
We love interns.
It's been a really wonderful level of assistance. A lot of local project work happening. One thing I wanted to, just since I mentioned the energy piece, one thing I wanted to again mention to you, we have been providing these sustainability support services to the town of Westford now for about a year and a half. It'll wrap up at the end of the calendar year. And we have been working with them, and now Kelly and I are going to be working on articles in town meeting to amend their zoning and potentially make recommendations for how they can amend their town bylaw to address battery energy storage systems, as well as, in their case, solar energy systems. again, just want to communicate, if you are interested in the service or your planning boards are interested in support, to let us know. We did just receive additional funds through the Department of Energy Resources of the state in order to provide this technical assistance. So if you're interested in having us talk with you more about that, just let us know. So anything else to mention about that? We have an upcoming meeting.
Oh, the 29th. There is a Zoom meeting on June 29. If you go to our front page of our website on the calendar, it's posted, thanks to Megan. There's just a Zoom link for you to register. You can either join us here in person in our office here, or you can join via Zoom. But the Department of we'll be running through basically the law, and then the kind of we'll also be able to describe the assistance that we can provide to our communities.
And then
It's at noon.
I believe it is at noon, and we identified, working with your town managers and administrators, we identified individuals from other communities who they requested to be invited to that meeting. But of course, if any of you want to attend, we would welcome your attendance, June.
I'm sorry, is that event specifically about battery storage and solar? And
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so I'll disseminate that information after this meeting, in case you're interested. Just the other, I took down the report, but just a couple of other things I wanted to mention are about state budget and state legislative stuff that I think are important things. One is the state budget, which is still winding its way through finalization, but I wanted to make sure I reminded you that DLTA was level funded at this point, so that's a positive.
Yeah.
And that the retirement legislation that NMCOG has long been chasing and following has not moved forward in any way, thankfully. So you may recall that that's a positive thing. That sounds weird, right? It's like our legislation didn't go anywhere, and we're happy about that. But what it means is that once again, we will not have to pay a ridiculously large sum of back money to the state anytime soon, or any small incremental amount of retirement that we do not owe the state. A number of regional planning agencies as well as collaboratives have been in this situation since, I believe, the 90s. So a very long time carrying this around. And it's still unresolved, but occasionally a state treasurer comes along and wonders about it and puts a proposal forward, and it usually doesn't go anywhere. And that is exactly what has happened once again. So we will not have to worry about that for one more year. It just looms in the background.
It's like an iceberg out there.
It hasn't gone away, but it hasn't moved forward.
We budget for it.
We budgeted,
right?
just in case.
Yeah, no, we've got to, yeah.
Yeah, so those are the things that I know that we look out for in the budget, but and then the environmental bond bill had a very important hearing today, and a couple of amendments were discussed, and a couple of those things relate to state funding programs that we utilize here at NMCOG and that all of your communities access, and they include millions of dollars for the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program and many different other types of grants that a lot of your, that fund a lot of your environmental programs and plans, land acquisition, all kinds of other things that you do. That bond bill hasn't gone anywhere just yet officially, but I will share with you the final results of that discussion from today at the legislature's level once I have it. But I just wanted to make sure you were aware of the bond bill as well. And then the last thing was I had shared separately in my message to all of you our testimony that we provided on the Ride Safe Act, and I just wanted to share that in case I didn't mention this. Kelly actually delivered that testimony at the hearing. That was that your first time?
Yeah.
Was
it fun?
Testimony.
Great, you get a little high off.
No, was it in person?
No, I did it via Zoom, yeah. I was able to squeeze it in 3 minutes before I hit it.
Oh my God.
Next time in person.
Next time in person.
So, and that's it. That
Sure,
is-
I read, I'm sure all of us did in the newspaper about HUD dumping the housing first model to recovery first model. Do you know if we've been getting directives down from the state, from the economic office of housing and livable communities to let us know what direction we'll be going in terms of the monies and how we approach even our strategic plan for regional plan for housing livable communities here in this region.
So HUD has made proposals to regulations, but nothing is officially ended or
Okay.
changed. Those
Okay.
are proposed regulations and proposed memos that have been shared, but nothing has been changed just yet. And there's still an opportunity to provide comments, and your comments do matter. So I'm glad to again follow up. And if you want to write anything to HUD, write anything to your congressional leaders, I would encourage you to do that. But nothing has happened just yet. There's many more things beyond just housing first
Yeah,
proposals that are also threatening and challenging.
I'm sure you're on it too. You will take your lead on that. Just, I just wonder what you.
They are just proposals right now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they aren't great proposals, but and any of those directives wouldn't come to NMCOG and wouldn't necessarily be related to At Home in Greater Lowell at all.
Okay.
It would be from HUD to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities.
Right.
And then it would make changes to the programs that they administer, which
Yeah.
again, NMCOG doesn't access those programs in
Okay.
particular because they're related to direct services to individuals, and also primarily to, housing providers and builders. But it certainly has an impact on, policy setting and
Right.
policy advancement and potentially on populations who are already at risk or, experiencing homelessness.
Okay, thank you for explaining it.
You're welcome.
Let's move on to community exchange, our favorite agenda item. We can start with Bill and Rica. Chris, are you on?
Chris, I believe, dropped off.
He's off, okay. We'll hear from Chester then. Pat?
Okay, well, everybody probably noticed the big gap from Chelmsford and at the last NMCOG meeting, and that was because we were having a wild party to send off our
Oh, yeah.
that night. So
Did it go well?
they went very well, yes.
Left.
He left. Well said.
So Paul Cohen has left the town.
Hmm.
Haven't seen him since then. And temporarily, acting town manager is John Souza, who had to drop off, I know, from this meeting earlier today. So, and he's doing a really good job of staying really busy. I think there's things that have come up that he never would have expected. And we do have a screening committee who is working diligently to find a new town manager. They meet like 3 or 4 times a week, it seems. So, we'll see.
Big shoes to fill, as they say,
That's for
right?
sure.
About 20-something years, right?
For sure.
Almost, was it 20 years?
It was 19 and a half.
19 and a half, yeah, I remember the movie.
Yeah, and concurrent with our town manager leaving, our police chief also retired a few days after that.
There you
So
go.
we have a new police chief in town, so there's a lot of things going on in town.
Nothing stays forever.
No,
No.
sure, so, so that's what all I have to report on this evening.
Can I just ask, so John Souza was on the planning board?
Yes.
He's on the planning board, he's your acting.
Correct. We checked to be sure that it was legal to do that.
He's also,
Treasurer.
he's the treasurer, right?
Yeah, he's finance director.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I was gonna say, he's a good choice for.
He's like the Philip Ang of Chelmsford. That's.
Yes, but Chester does what they want.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty good though.
since it's only temporary.
Yeah.
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 You would talk about the credit.
The credit, oh yeah, we just found out today, that we have been reaffirmed as for AAA rating.
That's awesome. You guys are good.
Which is really good, because later this month we'll be doing a big bond sale, and that's always helps.
Sell them as soon as we can.
That's right.
A lot of things.
You can actually thank Paul on his way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Wow.
You see,
Chris
Doug?
actually is back on.
Oh, he is, okay.
I don't know if Chris, are you?
Yep,
Chris?
I'm present. It was, sorry, my phone died and I was assisting a friend. So I was my phone ended up dying there.
Okay, go
So-
ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so I mean, overall, what's happening in Borica? So a site plan, the NMCOG, who assisted us with a tiered site plan review that passed at our May meeting, along with, I believe, the NMCOG, not NMCOG, what is it? Sorry, MBTA, like just modifications to the original zoning. I believe those passed as well. So that's well and good on the planning board side. And then, I mean, really, the select board is going over right now kind of traffic. Even though the center failed, where they're doing some traffic improvements, so those will probably go through shortly. So we'll see how that works out. We have some new businesses coming in for 480 Boston Road. Dave's Hot Chicken is coming in June 19th. So that is, I guess, a good development. And the Starbucks opened up there along with the Chase Bank. And, town meeting went all right, I guess, with the rest of the articles, and believe the only, they're also doing, what is it? They're rehabbing the gazebo in town. That's another thing that they're doing. And we just went over the water rates to basically maintain our infrastructure. So I believe a lot of people have been holding off on that. So this is hopefully stabilize and get it up to the basic maintenance. So it's all the fun stuff going right on right now, and a good, or at least a portion of it in Billerica.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Back to Chelmsford. Doug, anything you want to add?
Just a couple of community engagement things, the regionally famous 4th of July parade, July 3rd, with the common country fair, thank you, from 5 to 9, with the community band going on at 7.
I have my chair out already.
So you said Doug, you said July 3rd, is that Friday?
Yeah, the country fair is always the day before.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
All commons all shut down.
That's
Saturday
great.
night.
It's cool.
So don't go driving through Chelmsford Center.
Yeah, don't try to.
Yeah.
Don't try.
And also I just mentioned at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts, June 26th is a tribute band called Chrome Horse, who is a Bob Dylan tribute band. I went and saw a Pink Floyd tribute band there, and it was just an outstanding show. And it's right, you don't have to go to Boston or anything like that, so it's right locally, So
Anything else?
that's it.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to Drake it, Don.
Thanks. So a lot of people think Drake it might be like anti-housing, so I'm pleased to announce that last Monday we had a dedication opening the Avenue at Greenmont, which is 56 units of senior housing, senior housing, 62 plus. Your favorite. This was really driven by Common Ground CTI, and the list of organizations involved in pulling this off over a approximately 12-year period was long. I'm proud to say that Drake and CVC committed about $3.5 million over three different grant cycles. There was an info session for Drake. It's MBTA zoning put on by our zoning board of review committee, and they've decided to forward a new set of recommendations that have been received the imprimatur of NMCOG to the Board of Selectmen, and we're hopefully going to put that on a track towards a fall town meeting in November. And on the 23rd, there's an election in town to see if there's a sufficient support in Drake it to build a new elementary school to the tune of $177 million. 94 million of that the Drake taxpayers have to agree to step forward on. That's what's going on in Drake.
It's a lot of money.
Ron, that's in addition to the Campbell School, is that the same?
That is the new Campbell combined.
Oh,
That's the school you're talking about.
Okay. Does not-
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what,
Yeah,
past the town meeting, this is the.
okay,
that's,
that's good. Okay, yeah, thank you, John. Bill?
I don't think anything to add to that.
Okay. Move on to Lowell. Belinda?
Let's see, I'm trying to think what's new in Lowell. We went through the budget process. We did have layoffs in the city as well as various tax increases or a tax increase and some rate increases, but I think we're, moving forward. And I'm trying to think of like what else is relevant here. I'm still learning. I should always prepare.
Sorry.
I'm still, yeah. So
Jerry,
I turn it over to Jerry.
Jerry.
Maybe I'll jump in. Yeah.
Well, I'll give you from the planning board perspective. So, I think it was announced that prior meeting, we put together a zoning audit committee. And so we're looking at the city's entire zoning code. And we actually have, the committee has a neighborhood walk scheduled for next Tuesday. And we're actually going to be gathering at the Gallagher Terminal and really walking through the MBTA zone and the back central area. Because it really kind of incorporates a lot in the court. Matter of fact, we just sold an auction, so the court building is in there. So we're really gonna walk through that area and get a nice flavor for some of the challenges we start looking at. We've got no parking requirements, but then you've got a neighborhood that's not too far from there as well. We've got the Gallagher Terminal, so we're taking a look at all that. Looking forward to that. And a lot of the items that DPD had identified in the audit were issues that they're having some hard time administering. So we're gonna take a look at that as well. And there's some bigger ticket items that I will be bringing back to this committee to talk about, I'm sure. In the fall, the idea is to have something to present to the city council in December. So obviously in the fall, we'll be ramped up at that point. I do have an ask though of all the planning board members. We have been having an internal discussion. We receive plans from applicants electronically, the DPD does, and they put them on the city website. You can access it. And with that, we have now the absence of actually plans being handed to us. And when you print them, we all print them on either 8.5 by 11 or legal. You try to pick out the details, and you can blow it up on screen. When you blow it up, you lose then looking at the entirety of the plan. Like looking at a small detail. And I'm just curious, are the planning board members? I know we don't have a lot here at the table, but if anybody even online, are you receiving actually physical plans still, or is everything electronic in your various communities? Do you know from a planning board perspective?
I don't know how we receive any documents. What I can tell you is 2 of the 5 planning board members don't take paper copies of anything. We basically do all of our review electronically. So I would assume that since we're able to do that, that we don't have somebody in the community development office scanning in, hundreds of pages of documents of various sizes and whatnot from each application. So I do believe, it would make sense. And again, I could get confirmation, but I believe we get electronic copies. And then they are printed out in the office for planning board members that want them. And then they're just posted electronically otherwise.
And do you know if the planning board members are getting like full-size plans, or are they getting it on 8.5 by 11 or legal size?
Usually 11 by 17s.
Okay.
We can donate some 11 by 17.
And Westford does something similar. We have everything is online. But I do believe the land use management department does get at least 1 or 2 full-size copies. And when, I particularly ask for, if there's a drawing set, I would like it printed out because it's very hard to review on the computer in my mind. So, and the same thing, we get 11 by 17s, unless it's a really huge package, and I have gotten full size, on one occasion there. So they obviously get some full-size copies that are available, but it's also electronic.
Chris, what are you guys doing out in Billerica?
Really, I was literally gonna go grab one of the. I mean, I think we've slimmed them down, but I had plans that would be the size of my desk basically at one point,
Okay,
depending
so
on the
you're
project.
getting full size plans, okay.
So yeah,
Yeah,
we've gotten a little better. The plans are now a little more smaller. They used to be, depending on if we had big projects, we had like bigger plans. I was literally just looking for it because it was like it could fit on half of my bed. And I forgot why I put it. I cleaned when I was
those are great to review the plan, but during the meeting, when you have it open, okay, no, that's good. I wanted to get a sense of what people were getting as like a report back to the.
When we looked at site plan review for Westford and Billerica, we're noticing that a lot of communities are shifting toward primarily electronic,
Yeah.
but it still is customary to have at least one set of architecturally sized drawings submitted, not for every single iteration, like some changes might be minor, and I think the board will sometimes call for like an updated set of plans, depending on how many changes have been made to the original submission.
yeah, and I think that was added into the site plan review, if I recall correctly.
Yeah,
we did have
because you
something on that.
previously had required that they submit 5 sets of printed.
That's what I was
size.
going says, yeah.
Yeah, which was like possibly excessive, especially for administrative or minor site plan review.
Okay.
No, thank you for everybody speaking.
I'm finding in the different communities that I need to supply plans to them. Typically, they want everything in electronic format. And then what I would refer to as half-size drawings, 11 by 17s.
Yeah.
One for each member and then a number of them for the different department heads that need to review it. And then oftentimes they want 2 full-size sets.
Wow, okay.
I mean, we're trying to get to the point where we don't want DPD to do the work, have the applicant. DPD is basically, we don't want to do that. But it's kind of like, well, then have the applicant. And if we have some members that, I mean, we're working with the electronic, what I do is I take a picture with my phone and they blow it up and, but, at some point, we're trying to come up with a balance on this, so. All right,
Yeah, plus the additional, the cost of printing. Because
That's
I can print the 11 by 17.
That's the real reason.
There's a real cost.
Absolutely, yeah.
To other communities.
Actually, I will jump in on one more thing. On Monday, there will be a data center, public forum in Lowell from 6 to 7 at the Butler School. So this will be an opportunity for, not sure what format it's gonna take, so we'll see what.
Who's facilitating the meeting?
It's
saw
the
that, but
city.
I
I think
didn't know.
PPD is, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yes. I think PPD.
Well, watch for in the news, because for some reason, the Markley Group has submitted 4 different subdivisions.
Yes, yeah.
plans.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Well,
that the CEO lived in Brookline.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, apparently.
Anything else from Lowell?
Oh, what about Draper? I heard about Draper. For Lowell.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Pepperell, check.
Not much going on in Pepperell right now. We still have the 2 40B projects that are moving along, so that's good news from the standpoint that we're increasing our affordable housing. Not much else going on right now,
Thank
unfortunately.
you. Yeah. Pepperell had their 250th anniversary bench dedication.
That's right.
And Sunday we call it the Town Common. The 11 community members were recognized, and for all the work they did over the last couple of years to bring, joy and good cheer to the town of Pepperell for the 250th anniversary. So they hanged up their hats and they're done. So it was all good.
Oh, they're not done, Steve. They're starting a new thing, just called the Fund Committee, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, it's a different committee makeup, but different members. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Tewksbury. Jonathan.
Thank you. We held a joint planning board select board meeting this past Monday, and we've authorized the town manager to put a special town meeting warrant. We have a special town meeting coming up every October, and we've put our recommendation for the MBTA communities parcels on that warrant. So we're hoping that by October we will be compliant and in the good graces of the state once again.
Thank you, Jonathan. Anything else?
Nope, that was the big ticket this week.
Okay. Westford, Joni?
Nope,
Oh,
we have,
take-
Oh, that's
we
one,
have
sure.
a new member here.
Oh,
His name is
sorry.
Nate.
I've been found some things to talk
I
about.
We've been waiting
Let's go Tingsboro.
to have an introduction.
Yeah,
from
Nate.
Nate.
Sure. So, well, I'm Nate Marino. I'm on the Tingsboro Select Board. Nice to meet you all. Few things. Our biggest thing right now is our fire station project that failed at the May 19th election, but we're bringing it up again to try and revise the plan. So that's our main focus. But one of the cool things to potentially help out with that is we have a battery storage facility coming in front of us as well. However, it's not located in the residential area, so we're happy about that. If we're working on a pilot with them. If we didn't do that, their assessment would be about $8.5 million. For reference, our budget is $55 million, so that's a pretty good chunk of change for us. Simultaneously, Middlesex Road, that corridor that facility will be on, we're working on traffic improvement plans there with the state. On Monday, I'll be meeting with our town manager, Colin Loisel, to go over some very preliminary discussions about a potential study committee for Middlesex and Westford Road. I'd like to loop NMCOG into that at some point. That's something that I kind of was part of my campaign platform and it seems to be more received. So we'll start that discussion, but that is about it from Tingsboro.
Thank you, Nate. Welcome to. Okay, now Joni, Westford?
Westford, okay. The planning board closed the public hearing and approved the site plan for what is the old Westford Regency, which will be our second MBTA community project for 300 units. The Regency is coming down, and there's going to be two big buildings going up. They are maintaining the historic building and creatively using it for things like bicycle storage and a guest kite suite. So pretty excited about that project. Westford is looking forward to working with NMCOG on the batteries as, battery and solar storage bylaw. Where at this last meeting, we were talking about potential dates to, get this thing rolling. So hoping we can get something to our fall town meeting. We did lose a planning board member. One of the members had to resign. So we are having a joint select board planning board meeting next week to appoint someone to finish that individual's term, which will be only a little less than a year term now. And for enjoyment this coming weekend, Strawberry Festival is this Saturday in Westford, Town Common. It's a really neat. It's amazing all the things that can be done with strawberries. So it's really neat, really fun. So anyone who has kids, they all really love it. So if you have a chance, by Westford.
It tastes so good, that's why.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Anything else, Joni?
that's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I think we've made the rounds. Let's move on to summer council meeting schedule. Jenny?
Do you want to have council meetings? Okay.
Let's think about that.
We may need one.
Good.
What's the situation?
We may need one, right? Why
To
don't
approve a
we?
warrant.
Yeah,
Like a virtual.
Yeah, we might need to approve a warrant.
Oh,
Yeah,
do a
sorry,
virtual.
we tried, but
Do a quick
Yes.
virtual or something like
I
that.
think a virtual, it would be a virtual meeting, and it
Okay.
would have to be in July. It would not
Okay,
be
that's
able
fine.
to
Yeah, that's fine.
There's good cell phone coverage at Winnipesaukee.
That'll be the only agenda item, right? Unless
What?
to have the meeting.
Oh, I mean, it's up to you. I would have to probably poll the group. I don't think if you would want it to be on your regular third Wednesday, let's just see what that
I
is.
don't know. Yeah, what do you guys think?
what if we reserve it
The third Wednesday is
Do
the
that.
15th.
if we need it,
Yeah,
and if we
okay.
don't need,
That's good.
For the 15th.
Okay,
Yeah, let's reserve it, let's keep it at.
Yeah, I
Have it
think
changed
this
on and off.
media is better, just in my opinion, but it would be completely remote and it would only be for that one item unless there's something else real urgent.
Okay.
It would just be
that's,
review and vote of our
that's not
warrant.
too bad. In August, we would not meet, right?
The plan would then to not
Okay.
be to not meet.
How's everybody feel about that? So moved. Have a second. Oh, that's fine. Anybody against that idea?
That's fine.
Thank you. Oh,
Okay, so it's July 15th if needed.
Mhm.
So don't forget that that's
Okay.
the next meeting. I haven't removed it technically yet.
And I anticipate that since you're talking about brief summer meetings, I anticipate that the NPO, we'll talk about it next week, but
Right.
I'm guessing the NPO will not meet it, bless you, in July, and may have a brief meeting in August to release, if we have to release
all
any
right.
kind
I
of
get it.
public comment period. So that would be a similarly short, brief
Okay.
virtual meeting.
Yeah, but that's all Zoom, well, Zoom for me.
Yeah.
You guys meet in person, yeah. Okay, thank you. Let's move on to NMCOG reminders and announcements. You just mentioned PO meeting, June 24th. That's the right date?
Yeah.
That is the right,
Okay.
yes.
At
And
2
then,
P.M., hybrid and Zoom and at NMCOG, and then, of course, we just talked about our council meeting, but the one we're looking forward to will be September 16th for our regular one.
It's the 15th, yeah.
Oh,
For some
15th.
reason, every date
Okay,
hasn't.
it's okay. September 15th at 7 P.M. will be.
No,
No?
it's the 15th.
is the 16th.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
it's the 16th. Oh, right,
July
yeah.
15th, September.
Okay, but
All right, I'm like, wait, no, it's another one I got wrong. This one.
the little things don't get us, right? It's always in the details. Okay, so,
Okay.
yeah, we'll have a meeting in September. How's that sound? Okay, any other business? Anybody have any other business they want to share before we close to adjourn?
I just have a question
Sure.
mostly about future meetings. We talked about this at the end of last year, at the end of, it was like June. So not everybody was in the room at the same time. So my question is for these meetings, two things. One is some folks have a memory of council meetings involving, various presenters sometimes from like other agencies. We did have a couple over the year, but we also have a lot of other content that is provided. Do you still wish for that? I mean, we could certainly integrate it into the meetings. It would mean a longer meeting because we still have other content to get through. But if that's something you're interested in, then I can thread it through the calendar and invite people in advance. It would be obviously on topics of importance and relevance to your local
Could the
community.
council individuals maybe bring some ideas to the table? Would that work for you?
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of fielding them right now so that I can kind of build out a schedule and.
It's nice to
Around
have
a little
that
bit.
break sometimes. I think something lively and different in terms of, that's very highly interesting topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That culvert guy was awesome.
The culvert. Got it, yes.
Headlines.
No, but to answer your question, state agencies or
Yeah.
or initiatives that, especially if they are gonna solve real problems and possibly bring grant funds into
Okay,
northern Middlesex community.
Yeah.
It's great.
okay.
I know like some of you, and we actually just met with Tingsboro, because they're working with, they put in a request for MassDOT's LEAP program, which is their local early action planning program, and that's to provide like pre-engineering studies. That may be like, they just got funding re-upped, so if that was something you would be interested in, we could have them come and give like a 5 to 10 minute presentation about the LEAP program and how to submit requests, that sort of thing.
Maybe maybe like solution oriented discussions or a topic could be maybe a zoning issue that needs to be kind of clarified for for the towns or whatever.
Culverts are actually covered under the LEAP program, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have that open, good.
I mean, this zoning discussions around data centers and.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's plenty of material there to listen to, maybe but short segments, so we don't fall asleep in our chairs.
I attended a workshop or a presentation in Boston a month or two ago around AI and its implications in government.
Mhm.
And it was a multi-discipline panel discussion from community representatives, faith-based, academics and politicians.
Okay.
It was a nice, I think, I was thinking of NIMCOG when I was there. It was obviously too much. It was a Boston centric, everything that goes with that, but that kind of information, I think, is important to bring in to,
Education.
yeah, as we're all dealing with those BES applications and, solar farms and people calling our planning department because National Grid won't hook up their solar. Yeah.
I guess the short answer is yes.
Yeah, and these are great suggestions, but yeah, of course, if you have other ideas and give it some time and thought, let me know if you have any ideas in mind and you'd like me to pursue, other speakers or topics or other ideas, open to anything.
Okay, thank you.
And then, related to community exchange, everybody's favorite, would it be helpful if we did that a little bit differently in the future? Perhaps if I provided some, prompts or questions, or we could also just have a community share, more than like sort of the way that we do share currently, or do you like the way it's going, basically?
I'd be interested to look at some of the ideas. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that. But, each community is different, so.
What did you have in mind when you said?
Yeah, look at that.
Well, question. I was like, you know, you're right. So I'm saying question.
With this.
So yeah, I'm just curious, like, in other words.
Tell me about your mother.
Yeah.
What's your favorite seller, Jerry?
Ice cream.
So what do you?
Get it, Jerry.
But yeah, so interested on that, like, in other words, a particular subject, how we're all gonna.
It could be that. I mean, it also, for example, at NMCOG staff meeting, we actually have prompts. We say, share something you learned, share something you need help with.
Okay.
Okay.
Or something interesting that you
Research that you just.
research you're reading. There's other prompts, and then
You're not helping us come.
helping you come up with, because I know that sometimes it is a little, like,
Yeah.
what am I? There's like 19 things that happened this past week.
So
that's really important, but I can share only one.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So does it be spontaneous at the actual meeting? Those
Give us a
questions
heads up. That would be
leading
nice.
I
questions?
would give you the prompts and they would just be our discussion
Oh, okay.
prompts. And then you'd know what to think about and share and be ready to potentially share.
It might be.
That's really helpful, especially with members.
Something from question A, something from question.
Thanks for all set.
I think community exchange is very wide open.
Yeah.
I'll address it very differently
Yeah.
and usually, of course, related to your board service role, and I appreciate that, but also sometimes, we hear about festivals and gatherings and
Let's do it.
other things too. And whatever you think is important to share is still important to share. That won't change. But I thought the prompts might help get, guide the discussion a little bit.
Well, I think it was a favorite. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was it.
You're welcome. Okay, I guess that the last thing is adjournment, unless you want to stay a little longer.
No, I'm good. Motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, and all in favor?
All in favor? Have a great
All
summer.
right, so.
For those of you who are having school
Have a
cost
good night.
pains, the Medford High School just came in at a
Thank you.
budget